watching the best. Fox 10 News at 9.
Tonight at 9, smoke filling the sky, debris falling for miles, and firefighters feeling the heat. We take you to a massive fire at several recycling yards. More evacuations east of the valley for the Telegraph fire, and even more residents on standby to get out of harm's way. Plus, the dog days of summer are here, and valley poochers are being protected from the hot pavement, one paw at a time.
It's massive, it's really big.
Mine's far enough away, but I saw people grabbing their stuff, putting them on trucks and moving out.
A massive fire today near 35th Avenue in Buckeye, west of downtown. Several recycling yards and buildings on fire, and smoke that could be seen for miles. This is the view from an ADOT camera. Heavy gray smoke filling the sky for much of the day. One firefighter went to the hospital. Dozens of homes lost power, and much of the area is still blocked off tonight. The 6-alarm fire, considered the largest response in the city's history. Fox 10's Irene Snyder is live on the scene with the latest. Irene.
Well, Brian, good evening. This fire now has been going on for most of the day, and you can still smell the smoke in the air. Now, while the fire now is nothing compared to what it was when we saw it earlier today, it is still burning pretty strong. I'll take you a look at what it looks like now. Even in the dark here, you can see that smoke up there, see a haze from the fire as well. There are some firefighters up there as well on the ladder battling the flames. And to give you some perspective as far as how far-reaching this fire has been today, now I live about half an hour away from where this fire is. Just even turning out of my driveway today, I could see the smoke from where I was. We've heard from people across the valley saying the same thing. And this fire started around 12:30 this afternoon. It started as a first alarm fire and then very rapidly spread. Massive clouds of black smoke can be seen from miles around. As this fire rips through western Phoenix, at least 5 commercial buildings and several recycling yards are now up in flames.
Went outside to get the mail, and pretty much we just saw like a cloud of smoke.
From miles away out my window, I was like, I better go check that out.
The plume was so large, it even showed up on the National Weather Service radar. Fire officials say it all started as a first alarm fire at a recycling yard near 35th and Buckeye, but it rapidly spread. By 3 o'clock, 200 firefighters from 10 area departments were on the ground, battling the flames. One of those firefighters suffered a leg injury and is now in the hospital in stable condition. According to fire officials, this is the largest response in Phoenix Fire Department history.
I can't remember the last time we had a 6th alarm. We've had a couple 2-3 alarms in the last couple months, but this is a big one.
And the 108-degree temps didn't make matters any easier.
We like to layer our resources. We keep upgrading these assignments so we can recycle our crews in and out. Our firefighters train for situations like this. This isn't their first time in the summer, so they know that they may get defensive posture fires like this, and they're ready for it.
And Keller says right now they are starting to disassemble. So again, the fire is getting better at this point, but he says he imagines crews are going to be out here throughout the night, maybe even part of the day tomorrow, to make sure they double check on all those hot spots. As you can see behind me too, part of the road is still closed down. Stay with Fox 10 for the latest as well on this developing story. At this point, no word on the cause of the fire. Reporting live tonight in West Phoenix, I'm Irene Snyder for Fox 10 News.
All right, thanks, Irene. More evacuations today east of the valley near the Telegraph fire. It broke out Friday, 5 miles south of Superior, and has burned more than 25,000 acres. These pictures are from Skyfox this afternoon. 150 homes and 2 commercial buildings are threatened, and new evacuation orders are in effect for the Oaks Mobile Home Park and the Oak Flat Campground in Pinal County. And people living in Superior and Top of the World could get a reverse 911 call at any moment.
Don't hesitate, just go. Be ready, have things packed if necessary, and then all you got to do is get out and go.
The Red Cross opened an evacuation shelter at Skyline High School and Crisman Road in Mesa, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Evacuation order is still in place for the Mescal fire burning southeast of Globe. That goes for residents east of Highway 77 near El Capitan, along with Soda Canyon area near San Carlos Lake, and State Route 77 is shut down between Winkleman and the I-70 because of smoke. This fire started on June 1st and has burned nearly 8,000 acres. It is 5% contained. Air tankers and choppers are helping the crews on the ground, and to make matters worse, a red flag warning was issued today because of the strong winds. And of course, the triple-digit heat didn't help either. Let's check in with Steph for a closer look. Hi, Steph.
Brian, that's right. Things warmed up pretty quickly earlier this afternoon, especially here in the lower desert. So areas where we have been dealing with the fires, well, the crews had to take turns because it got so hot out there. As we take a look at the high temperatures observed earlier today, especially in the lower deserts, it was the hottest day of the year so far here in Phoenix, with that high temperature reaching 108. So it ties yesterday. 108 also in Gila Bend, 106 in Casa Grande. Areas over to the west, Lake Havasu, and also Bullhead City. Look at this, 108, 109. Up north, it got pretty warm as well there in Sedona, 97. But we take a look at what Brian was mentioning there, the Telegraph fire, the Mescal fire burning east of Phoenix. Current conditions, temperatures in the mid-80s, humidity very low at 12%, and still dealing with some breezes out there this evening. I want to remind you that the fire danger remains elevated as we head into the next few days. Red flag warning has been issued again for some areas. This is including Mojave County. Again, we can expect winds over 35 miles an hour. And low relative humidity expected as we head into tomorrow and Monday. We'll have more on this coming up a little bit later on in the show.
Steph, thanks. See you then. Tempe police are investigating a stabbing. It happened last night outside of a Fry's grocery store near Rural and Ray Roads. Police say the victim was in bad shape and rushed to the hospital. The suspect is in custody. It is unclear what led up to the attack. The recount of Maricopa County's 2 million ballots is supposed to wrap up by the end of the month, but first, some of Senate President Karen Fann's emails were released this week. She wrote that she spoke with former President Trump personally to get the audit going. And Arizona's Secretary of State is expressing concern that voter information was sent to Montana for unknown reasons. Former President Trump spoke at a convention today in Greenville, North Carolina, his first event in more than 3 months. He encouraged Republicans to support candidates loyal to him in the midterm elections and teased a run for the White House in 2024.
And as we've seen time and time again in recent years, the left is willing to weaponize the law itself to persecute their political opponents. There are people in this room that have been persecuted.
A DNC spokesperson said recklessly dangerous rhetoric, lost jobs, and 400,000 lives lost to COVID should make the GOP break away from the, quote, loser president. A day out at the ballpark came with a pitch to get vaccinated today. The D-backs hosting a free family vaccination event for anyone 12 and older, rolling up their sleeves for the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. It came with 2 free tickets to a home game, and then the kids got to run the bases and take a few pictures on the field.
You're going to see us focus more on these types of community events where we're in the communities where people live, work, and play in order to encourage Arizonans who may not be able to make it out to a vaccination site or may not be comfortable going to a pharmacy to come out and get vaccinated here.
Second shots are also being offered at Chase Field on June 26th. Well, Valley kids got a chance to see what it's like to be a pilot. They climbed on board a historic fighter jet today and right into the cockpit, and maybe walked away with some inspiration. Fox 10 Steve Nielsen goes along for the ride.
I'll show you what the #1 airplane in the museum is.
Bobby Carlton laughs that behind her sea of impressive historic aircraft, it's this kid's pedal plane that everyone loves. But it might be a bright sign for what's ahead.
Yeah, I think that's in a lot of ways how people get interested. There's something that inspires them when they're a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, I heard the stories of Amelia Earhart, for example.
Nationally, for years, we've heard of a massive pilot shortage. Analysts have said the pandemic only added to the problem as older pilots retired. But you'd never guess there aren't enough pilots based on the scene in Mesa's Air Base Arizona Flying Museum.
Do you like airplanes?
Yeah.
Are you going to be a pilot one day?
Yeah. Young people want to be a part of that.
Saturday, the museum had a family day with scavenger hunts and discounted prices to bring the young at heart in and maybe show them what life as a pilot can bring.
Being in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, I think that's a critical time for a kid growing up. because they're really forming a pretty important impression of which direction they're going to go.
Yeah, I want to go into the Navy for fighter pilot.
Grady Youngion's the perfect example of a future pilot. His dad was in the Air Force, his grandpa, his uncle, you name it. And it can be days like these that can leave an impression that leads to a career.
I don't think that would be much of a job, more of just having fun.
Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
And there are more family days at the museum on the first Fridays of every month. Lots more ahead tonight at 9. Store workers under attack. New video from the Valley showing suspects using pepper spray and stun guns to take what they want. And do you believe in UFOs? We preview an upcoming report on strange sightings in the skies. Plus, your chance to be a star on a reality TV show. Details for a casting call for the new show called Scottsdale.
Oh boy, there's going to be a lot of people in line for that one. A crazy day on the course for former Sun Devil Jon Rahm as he is forced to withdraw. And we preview the Suns Nuggets Western Conference Finals matchup. Western Conference semifinals, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sports is at 9:50.